Hi everyone, this is Christiana from Kaleidoscope Occupational Therapy. Sorry it took me a while to get this video uploaded for you all, but I am now settled on my first day of vacation in the Riviera Maya, and I am ready to get this to you guys. So I wanted to just go ahead and start off with just kind of explain to you about my business, because it might be a little bit different than what you're looking to start, or maybe it's exactly the same type of idea. So my business is called Kaleidoscope Occupational Therapy, and it is a pediatric home and community-based practice that I only accept cash. So that's been a little bit of a learning curve, because until like 2018 when I started my business, I didn't know cash-based therapy, like only cash-based, was a thing. So I'm really glad I found that out, because I've really been enjoying it. So I want to tell you why I did it, how I did it, and hopefully that will answer a lot of the questions that I've been getting from therapists looking into this over the last year and a half. So first of all, I did it because I have kind of gotten tired of working in clinic settings where, first of all, I see kids for years and years, and in my experience, a lot of the time, not always, but a lot of the time, we see the kids for years and years because there's not the carryover at home. And also there's the parents that are waiting in the waiting room, and they're not able to be a part of therapy. And I understand from a therapist's perspective, sometimes that is really necessary to have the parents step away so we can get the reactions that we want to get from the kids, and also just because the dynamics change when the parents are around sometimes. But the other, the flip side of that is they're not there to see what we're doing and how we're doing and getting that hands-on experience, so they don't know how exactly to carry it over into the home setting. So one of the reasons why I chose to do the in-home therapy too was to have the parents be a part of therapy sessions for the most part. So there's that. And then I also really needed to know why I wanted to do cash-based. Well, that was easy. I only wanted to do cash-based. I had to figure out like how I was going to sell that to people. But I know with like a 4-year-old, at that point when I started this business, I had a 2-year-old and a 3-month-old, and I just did not need to deal with taking insurance. That just wasn't going to be my thing. So I knew I wanted to do cash if I was going to have a business, and I needed to know how to sell that. So I think the first step is figuring out how to verbalize to potential clients how it could be beneficial to them to pay what seems like a lot more upfront sometimes. So I did that, depending on people's insurance plans, sometimes the copay might be $50 or $60 for a copay per visit. And in my experience, seeing kids in clinics, sometimes they're seen 2 or 3 times a week. And if they're seen 2 or 3 times a week and they have a high copay, that's a lot of money. And if I can see them 1 or 2 times a week and it's more upfront, but my goal is to not have them on my caseload for long, because the parents are going to be involved in therapy. I'm going to train the parents and give them the resources they need to treat their own child. So that is a big selling point, and honestly, it's something that I've seen a huge difference in with the clients I've been working with, is that the parents, they are sacrificially paying out of pocket, and they don't want to do it for long, so they are doing the carryover, and I'm seeing gains in the clients that is nothing because I've done anything great. It's because the parents are doing the carryover, which a lot of times I didn't see that in the clinic setting as much. So that is also one of my selling points, is the fact that the parents are a real big part of the therapy treatments, and that I want to discharge their child to them, basically. Sorry, my table wobbles. And then the other part is the convenience factor. When you have one child who needs therapy, but then you have like several others that you have to drag to sit in a waiting room for an hour once or however many times a week, that can be a struggle. And so having me being able to either see the child in their private school or in their home is just a huge convenience factor, and people really like it too, because it's not taking away from quality family time that they can be having at home, and mom can get errands done, or she can get dinner prepped while I'm there, things like that. So that's a little bit about my business and how I started it, and also the fact that the other thing that, why I started the in-home and cash-based, not only because I wanted to see the kids in their natural environments, but also because I did not want to take out any loans. So I wanted to keep my overhead costs extremely low, and I just paid for everything out of our personal savings. So I think the first year with like marketing and getting my name out there and paying for liability insurance and all the startup costs, I think I spent around like $2,500 for the year. So that was, I think that was pretty good. So I'm going to tell you how I did that and how I marketed myself. First off, I went to like fairs. If there was a health fair at the YMCA, I would sign up to be a vendor. I would offer free screenings at those types of events just to get my name out there, and also more than to like get my name out there with people who might come to those events. It was really to network with the other vendors and see who else in that area, like maybe we could network with one another. And then I also did an open house, actually 2 open houses at the library. I don't know about your libraries, but ours, as long as it's a free event, you can rent a room for nothing. And so I had like sensory tables and craft tables and some other game type, stations for people to come into, meet me, very informal. Here's some snacks and a goodie bag, and here's some activities to do with your kids. And it was great because it went along with like the story time that was happening next door, so the families would just come over. And if nothing else, it just got people aware that I was new in the area. So those were the two things that I did. But the biggest thing that I did for marketing purposes that has helped me actually get clients is that I went to all the private schools in my area. And I put together like a nice professional looking folder with different information. I put in like a letter to the principal and saying, hey, this is who I am. This is how occupational therapy, if you're not aware of it, this is how they can help students in the school setting. And unlike the public schools, a lot of the kids in the private schools don't have visible disabilities. But here are some situations. Do you have any kids in your class, in your school, that have a really hard time with focusing or following multiple step directions or organizational skills, or struggling with reading and writing? And they're like, yes, we do. And I'm like, well, occupational therapy can help with that, because a lot of times they don't know what we do. So I write a letter to the principal. I also went and like just asked, is the principal available for me to speak to them for a few minutes? And then I think probably like each time I went, they were. And then I also wrote in that folder, I had a sample parent letter for the principal to look over, saying, this is a sample letter. If you want to send it out in your weekly emails, or print them out, or however you want to do it. Maybe it's a teacher knows this is a student that needs this. They send it. So it was open to the school and however they wanted to distribute it if they wanted to. And basically it was a letter to the parents saying, there's an occupational therapist who's willing to come to our school and provide free occupational therapy developmental screenings. And then on the flip side of it, it had the authorization form from the parent with the parents' contact information as well, so I could follow up with them. And then I also had a form of saying, this is what's included in the screening. And for me, it may look different for you. I had a fine motor, a gross motor, a visual motor section. And I just had some concerns or no concerns, and I checked the box, and then I wrote like a little bit of a blurb on specific areas that I saw were concerns. And then at the bottom it just said a full occupational therapy evaluation is warranted or it's not. And at that point I would send that back to the teachers to send home, and then at that point the parent can contact me if they want to seek services or speak further about my prices and all of that. But that was the biggest thing that I did as far as marketing. And now I think I've been in 4 of the private schools have let me come in, and so now word's getting out and it's really more word of mouth. So I actually haven't done marketing, social media, I haven't done months just because I didn't want to get any more busy than I already am. But that is important. So I had my husband set up my website. If you want to check it out, you can. It's kotfxbg.com, and that is because I'm located in Fredericksburg, so FXBG is for Fredericksburg. That's a sample of what my website looks like. And then he did all my social media, and he is also a marketing person, like that's what he does for a living. So if you like what you see on mine and you want his information, I can give that to you. Let's see. As far as the steps I actually took to start up the business, I just wanted to make sure I was doing everything legally. I'm really scared to death of like screwing something up. So instead of doing like LegalZoom or anything like that, I just went to an accountant. I had him set it up. I think it was about $200 for him to just do it all and for me, and it gave me peace of mind. And then I had a call. He actually told me the steps I needed to take, but I had to go to like, I use my home as my business address, so I had to go to like my county and get stuff approved by them. But I also had to call all the other counties that I was going to be seeing children in their homes, and just make sure that I didn't need to pay them any fees for working in their county. And then I had to figure out what EMR to use. I just wanted to make sure I was above reproach as far as HIPAA compliance. So I did a lot of like free trials or tutorials with different EMRs. And just to save you some time, if you're just like me and you just want like to do your notes and be able to communicate somehow with clients and have it be user-friendly, use Simple Practice. They are affordable. It's $50 a month, and you can do teletherapy. You can like instant message. Like I instant message the parents of my clients that way. That's my only means of communication with them that is HIPAA compliant, and I let them know that up front. My phone is not right now, and my Gmail is not. But if they want to communicate with me, with their child, we do it through the client portal. So I really like them for their price, and also it really is simple. And whenever I have had questions, I've been very quick, like within like an hour, they respond to my questions. So let me know if you go that route, because I can get you a month free, and then you can also get me a month free. So we can work together there. And then as far as fax, they don't have, as of yet, Simple Practice does not have a way for me to fax a doctor's office and then, you know, get a referral fax to me. So I had to do a separate online fax machine. So I use SR Fax, which is just like email, and it's really simple, and I think it's about $8 a month, so it's not much. And just because I'm a small practice, I don't need like their bigger plans. I only do a couple faxes a month, maybe. So that's kind of the steps I've taken. I know a lot of people, when they start off, they ask me, well, how do you determine your prices? And I don't know if this was like okay to do or not, but I think it is. I actually just called the places and just asked what their out-of-network cost was for occupational therapy in their clinic. There was like 4 clinics around my area. So I called them, and it ranged, I think, per session anywhere from $80 to, I think it was like $130 an hour or something like that. So I started off with $100 an hour at first, but also sold the fact that, hey, it is a little bit more than some of the places, but I'm coming to you. So there's the convenience factor, and I'm educating you a lot while we are working together. So I sold that, and people just really didn't bat an eye. Like, they weren't concerned about it. And then I ended up raising my price. Oh, when I started off, my evaluation price was $300 for up to a 2-hour evaluation, depending on how long it would actually take. So I set those prices, and then as I grew and got busier, I increased my prices slightly. So I now charge $115 per 53 minutes. And I went to 53 minutes because a lot of the kids I'm seeing in the private schools now, and not even at their homes, which I really like, because I can just go to a school, be there, see them all, and get out sooner and get home to my kids. But the schools don't really love me pulling a child for an hour of class. So I pull them for 53 minutes, and they usually end up missing like PE or recess, not a core class. So I see them for 53 minutes, and then I just tell the parents, hey, that extra 7 minutes, that's because I'm going to go after their session's over and write a really detailed daily note so that you can learn from it, because I'm not seeing the parent. I'm taking that time to give you extra information and put more work into their daily notes so that you can see, this is what we did today. These are the activities that we did. These are the areas that those activities address. And then I encourage parents to print those off and keep them like in a file so you can start realizing, hey, she keeps doing this activity. I can do this. And just give them the confidence that they need to treat their own child. Let's see. So now I charge $115 for a 53-minute session and $400 for an evaluation at this point. As far as the cash-based, I am so happy. I don't accept insurance. I just do my job, and there's nobody like telling me, hey, no, we're not going to pay for that. I just do it, and I do it to my best ability, and it's great. I will say that some people are getting, the families that have actually gone through the process of trying to get reimbursed for my services, I think they are being successful at that. I have one client who's actually being reimbursed as if I wasn't an in-network provider, because I provide a unique service that is not within a like 50-mile radius. And I think that's just the fact that like I'm a community-based OT that goes to the homes and things like that. So I would really also like push that. If you want to discuss further, I can tell you the information the insurance companies typically want from you. So I offer to the parents, hey, if you want to check before you do your evaluation with your insurance company, I'd be happy to email you the information they'd want from you during that conversation. So that's a little bit about me. As far as cash-based too, I will say I think I said this earlier, but the progress I've been seeing in clients is really amazing, and it's not because of me, but it's because the carryover is happening, because I mean, people can't pay for this forever. So anyways, I really think that's been a really big encouragement to me as a therapist, just to, you know, give me pride in my work and just, you know, encouragement to keep on going. All right, so now I think that hopefully that answered some of your questions those are some of the main questions I've gotten over the last year and a half. If you have more questions, I would be happy to talk to you. Unfortunately, I've just been bombarded with people wanting to, you know, have me or ask questions, and I love to help them. But after a year and a half of doing it, it's just eating up too much of my time. So if you wanted to schedule a time to talk, I would be happy to do that. However, there will be a fee with that just for my time, like that, a consultation fee. And then I also have resources. So some people have asked me like, hey, do you have a sample of like your intake forms that you send clients and all of your intake forms and, you know, your policies and things like that? I do, so that's something that I can supply you with too for a slightly additional charge. And then if you are looking at doing something a little bit differently than I've done it, I don't know if you've heard of Aaron LeBauer from the Cash PT, but he is really well known in the cash-based therapy world, and I would highly encourage you to check out his information. I also have links to his resources if you would like a copy of what he has to offer, and then decide for yourself if any of that looks like something that would benefit you. So anyways, that is all for now, but please feel free to message me if you have more questions. All right, thank you.